From Hollywood, it's time now for
Johnny Dollar.
Tonight and every weekday night, Bob Bailey in the transcribed adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account, America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
To all of you who responded to my Dutch oven cooking, my peach cobbler and chicken, I appreciate all the nice comments and good stuff all the way around. I won't be answering all those because there's just too many. I prefer to save my energy for the answering of the radio questions and radio comments. Okay, let's go ahead and take off this mess right here and see what our grill work looks like after that's been pressed into service. That new old veneer. I don't know if it's even going to look halfway decent, but we're going to give it the old college try. Alright, everything fell off. Oh, now that's not too bad at all. Not too bad at all. I'm going to go ahead and trim the sides down. I bet it'll look even better. A while back at Harbor Freight, I picked up this set of X-Acto type knives with a whole bunch of blades on one side. I kind of like this setup because it's got magnets that hold the blades in place. You just go ahead and stick them in there and it just magnetizes it. Let me get it the right way here. Oh, I guess that one doesn't go there. Anyway, it holds them all in place. I really like that. And it was cheap, and I went in there. I wasn't even looking for this, and there it was. So I went ahead and picked it up, and I'm glad I did. I like to use this hook blade and this larger handle when I'm trimming veneer, like I'm going to do right here. I'm going to trim it right down along the edge there on both sides, very, very carefully. Let's see how that turns out. And here's why I like to use the hook blade. It's used as like a draw knife. You just take it and it comes right on down, just shaves it right on down for you, nice and easy. Just got to take your time, go nice and slow, a little at a time till you get it down to just about the size you want. Then we'll go ahead and take some sandpaper to it and finish it up the rest of the way. Not bad, huh? Well, that's not too bad. You can certainly see the two seams, but I'm hoping, or the three seams actually, I'm kind of hoping after I get it all stripped down, put in some pastewood filler, then add a little stain and get this black stripe painted up the center, that it'll be hardly noticeable. But either way, you know, it'll be better than it was. I couldn't leave that flaky stuff on there. Well, let me see. What do we have left to do? I think all I have left to do now is to fill in a little spot right here, which I will do today. And then, oh yeah, we have a little deal back here that I wanted to show you. Right down in there, let me see if we can get the sun in there. See those cracks in that wood down in there? This wood has cracked and separated right along here. There's nothing you can really do about stuff like that except to fill it with wood glue. Stick it way down in there. Get that glue poured down in there. And I have another one over there in the corner with the same situation. Got a crack from the center of the large hole down through the bottom hole. Just fill them with the wood glue and let them dry, and that'll keep them from cracking further. And I also have to draw in, where's that side of the cabinet that's protruding out? This one over here. There it is right there. I need to, that little white strip you see right there, I need to get the clamps on that and get some glue and draw that in. So over the next 2 days, because I always like to wait until something is completely dry before working on the next item. So that's what's up for the next 2 days. The stripping is beginning, and I'm going to have to use a clean stripper. And normally I strip a cabinet using lacquer thinner, but that's for a finish, if it's only a finish on the cabinet. This thing here has got paint, a couple layers of paint. It would take me forever with lacquer thinner, so I'm forced to use a stripper. And It's beginning to come off pretty good, as you can see right here. That stuff works really well. So let me go ahead and work on it for a while, see how good we can get at least this one side before I go to work today. Once the paint and everything is softened up, you can just kind of go ahead and scrape it off the first layer, put it on a paper towel. That's all it takes. Just kind of, I'm not wearing rubber gloves right now. I will be once I start physically cleaning the cabinet with my hands, but right now I'm using just the putty. Now gently doing it. Don't do it hard. You don't want it to scrape the wood, tear up the wood. What we're trying to do here is preserve a cabinet, not mess it up. For the grooves on this radio, I like to use a plastic bristle brush by Stanley. You pick them up at Walmart. And I just wash it out when I'm all done. Just keep using it over and over and over for different radios. It's never failed me yet. It does a good job. I like it because the bristles are very stiff. And you can even go ahead and work down the rest of the cabinet with it before you put on your second coat of stripper, which is what this radio is going to need. As you can see, someone painted it white at first and then they painted it brown. So a second coat of stripper will have to go on. Alright, the way I pour the old stripper on is exactly that. I just pour it on there. And take an old paintbrush or foam rubber brush. I'm sort of running low on foam rubber brushes, so I'll just take an old bristle brush I had. Just smear it around. Just smear it around. Get it in there. Blob it in there. Then when you get it all blobbed in there, we'll take probably a little more out of the can here in a minute. I want to put plenty on there. Yeah, the old stripper's not all that cheap, but you know, when you gotta have it, you gotta have it. It doesn't matter what the cost is. You know, you just got to do it. Now we'll blob it around again. I think one can will probably, with this radio, it's probably going to take almost the entire can to get the surface clean. The more longer you set it, the more it works, but eventually, you know, you reach a point of no return where you're not going to get anything back, so you have to get it off. This is how you strip. This is the end of the first go round. We got all the paint off and there's still some finish that needs to come off. So once we get the entire cabinet looking like this, down to the wood as much as possible, then we'll go ahead and give it one more stripping. And then once it's completely stripped, we'll start the paste wood filler to make it nice and smooth for the eventual finish we put on the top. Right now it's time for work. One of the interesting things I've noticed about folks when they strip a cabinet, and it was the same way with me in the beginning, it begins to become a mess. It's like, oh man, you know, just crap everywhere and it's looking really bad and there's just stuff, you know, sticking to it, and you know, and after a while you begin to wonder, you know, am I doing this right? You know, I mean, look at the big mess I'm making here. I hope I'm not ruining the wood, or I hope I'm not doing this. And you know, you've got your little can of clean strip X. By the way, this is the best stuff there is as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, you begin to really question yourself. Well, don't question yourself. Yes, you are doing it right. Don't worry about the mess. Now that I've got the initial stripping done on the cabinet, it's time for, I wiped it down with just a dry rag, and now I'm going to go ahead and shower down with some lacquer thinner on another clean rag. Now I'm just about out of lacquer thinner here, so what we can use, and I have a whole can of it, and sometimes you can mix the two together and it cleans the cabinet real good too, is acetone. But make sure you use this stuff outside. This is pretty powerful stuff as far as fumes go, and wear rubber gloves. Anyway, now I'm going to start to wipe down the entire cabinet with this rag, and probably a couple of others. Just got to wipe it down, clean it. And at the same time, I'll be taking my little brush here and cleaning, you know, pouring some acetone on it and scrubbing down in the grooves. It's quite a long process. It'll probably take me about, well, maybe 20 minutes to get this thing the way I want it. Maybe longer. That's the end of the first round of stripping and wiping down. Yeah, it turns out there is looks like there is a cabinet underneath all that brown and white paint. Boy, that white paint was really thick. It took a lot of soaking and stripping and scrubbing with the bristle brush. Of course, I haven't finished the entire front yet. I still have to do the you know, the what fluted side of it, I guess they're fluted. We have to strip all this, but I'm going to be real careful about doing this. This is where we put all the patchwork in, and of course one more go around, I think, with the stripper. But we don't have to get all that black stuff off. We do not have to get all the black stuff removed. And later on, you'll see why. Now down here, there was, underneath that paint, it had been all filled in with white paint. There's a piece of veneer missing there. Bummer. I have to do something about that, I guess.